Okay, welcome to the ESS Unveiling. This is Rome Bachelor. This is an introduction to ESS. Our purpose is to help you enjoy your life and live life the way you feel your creator, God, wanted you to live it with freedom, time, money. Let's go. So what if you could more fully enjoy your life? After watching this presentation, please promise yourself that if this isn't a complete fit for you, that's perfectly okay. We're cool with it, and we don't want you to be involved if you don't feel like this is what you've been looking for. All right, so please don't pursue this. We are friends first, and we mean it. So who we're looking for, we're looking for people with integrity who do the right thing for the right thing's sake, even when people aren't looking. Hard to find. You're a rare person if that's you, but that's who we're looking for. Also, someone with ambition that wants more out of life. They're thinking, is this all there is? There's got to be something more. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be more to this life. Somebody that is not 100% satisfied and just wants something more. And people who are coachable, because if you're not coachable, and that includes accountable and communicate, being willing to communicate as needed, then we're not going to be a fit either. So we're looking for those three things because this isn't for everyone. Also, there's no guarantees of income, and we want you to always stay within the law, and with anything that you've agreed to do, we expect you to keep your word, especially if it's anything in writing with any of our vendor companies, etc., and stay in compliance. Okay. So before going forward, would it be okay if we share a high value program that involves a $19.95 monthly investment? That's what we're looking at here. I'm just bringing it out now. You don't have to wonder, is there a surprise at the end? It's $19.95, but you can't do it today. We don't even allow it if you wanted to. There's a process we have to go through to make sure you're going to be a fit, okay? And to make sure you like this. In this approximate 30-minute webinar, and we're going to try to go faster if we can, you're going to discover a proven path to truly enjoy your life, doing more of what you love, and we're going to share the most successful vehicle today to achieve financial and time freedom, yet why it still often fails. If you already have a great opportunity, it's possible, and we'll have to discover that together, that ESS may potentially enhance what you've already got. It doesn't have to take away from or replace. It can enhance. We'll get into that. Plus, we're going to reveal a brand new, never before shown exclusive system built for both extroverts and introverts, designed to overcome the major obstacles. And we put selected, we're going to go ahead and say selected people in a real position to win, and a never before revealed strategy designed to potentially double your income, and maybe more, but maybe not quite, but potentially, and strengthen your long-term financial security, as well as building your dream lifestyle in a more enjoyable way. And now, what does it take to enjoy your life? Time, money, health, healthy relationships, and a passionate purpose. Like a four-legged stool. If any of those are lacking, something just isn't there all the way. You're not hitting life all the way, are you? So a lot of that's an inside job, but for the purpose of this overview, sorry, let's begin with money and the time from your life you trade to earn it. So if you could be paid a greater income to do what you enjoy, what would you enjoy doing more of? See plenty of examples here. I love the third one, giving back, alleviating some pain for some people that are hurting in this world. That's where ESS is highly focused. However, if you want to go fly fishing and have that freedom in the mountains, if you want to shop and luxury shopping and have the cash flow to do it, or luxury travel, I'm definitely all for that myself. What if you could do more of that and have the time and the money to do it? What would you do? Or something else. There's many ways to prosper. Here are some examples on the right, but one method stands out above the rest. You're probably already aware that more millionaires are created by marketing products and services for third-party companies than by any other method, but there's several ways of doing that. So most people do social marketing in their daily life. They're just not getting paid. So when was the last time you recommended something? It could be a song that you shared. It could be a movie that you bragged on that you really enjoyed. See, it's human nature. It could be a restaurant. Something that is great. It's human nature. We want to tell others about it. Can't stop human nature. It's ingrained in us. But what if you could get paid for just being you and being human, having human nature? Most people don't pick up the check. There's a way to do it. See, the movie industry, as an example, recently did 32 billion in 1 year. That's huge. The music industry did almost as much. The NFL did 23 billion. Network marketing did almost double what all three of those did combined recently in 1 year. Why is it so powerful and growing? Why is it so powerful? Because it works, but it also doesn't work. And we're going to get into that. But what about being an online influencer? Well, the most successful at this time platform to make money online has been YouTube. So let's look at the difference. YouTube has produced, you see it on the left there, well under 1% of all worldwide millionaires. But network marketing, approximately 20% of all millionaires around the world have done it through some form of network marketing. Now, that can include travel, that can include legal services, that can include real estate, that can include a lot of insurance, that can include goods and services of many different sorts. But when you combine it all worldwide, this is what has happened. So you can't deny this kind of power. It's just, how do you make it work? Because most people have heard stories, but they also, a lot of people have tried stuff and it didn't work out, right? So what gives? So currently there's more than 100 million people worldwide actively participating in some kind of network or social marketing venture. But there's challenges. You know, people try and they get frustrated and disappointed. The reality of building a network marketing company, the struggle is real. And you see here some of the slides. Everyone's too busy, or people ghost you, or companies go out of business or change the compensation. There's a bunch of challenges. The truth is, you're not lazy. It's not your fault. The system, although it works, barely, but it works compared to other industries and professions very well, very, very well. But let's just face it, it's partially broken and it can do a lot better. So there has to be a better way. So here are some of the problems with it. Number one is the industry branding. It used to be called more so marketing. And over the last few decades, it's been being coined direct selling. Well, there's a problem with that. That's a perception that runs people away. It makes the bigwigs happy, but it runs people away because there's lots of ways to market and doesn't have to be, you can sell, but you can also market without selling. Okay. So there's a sale happening, but you're not a salesperson. That's the distinction. So marketing can create awareness. It builds interest. It can attract people and generate inquiries of people who are already interested. Now that's a lot more fun. Now there are people out there who love to sell. There's nothing wrong with sales, but it doesn't work very well in network marketing, truth be told, and we're going to go over that. So selling communicates that there's persuasion involved and convincing and overcoming objections and being a closer. You have to close people. That doesn't duplicate. That's just a fact. Historically, salespeople don't succeed big in network marketing. They have some temporary short-term success, but nothing of magnitude. So the public doesn't dislike marketing. They dislike being sold. And this is an issue because it's been shown that over 90% of people are internally resistant to being salespeople. You wonder why people join and they're excited and all of a sudden they disappear because they don't want to be this guy. And they're starting to feel like this guy. And it's not just them, but it's also how they're taught. They're taught to word things and close people and double team in such a way that it feels like you're having to convince people. And it's not cool because it feels like that guy and people don't want to do it. So they soon, often unconsciously, self-sabotage. They're not wholehearted. Success stops happening and they soon quit. Primarily, problem number two is a lot of these companies go out of business, especially the new ones that people love to join because it's brand new and they want to be first to tell somebody. And guess what? Those are the ones that go out of business the fastest. There's something historic about companies making it to 20 years. There's some that do go out of business, but most, when they hit 20 years, they tend to continue and continue and continue to pay people for decades and decades and for a long, long, long time, lifetimes potentially. But even the big ones, sometimes the ones that even make 20 years still go out. So there's a risk here. So you've got Excel Communications. They did billions of dollars in sales years ago. Then on the right there, you've got Goji, Free Life, the Himalayan Goji company. I made a lot of money in that company, a good part of $1 million anyway, on a part-time basis. It was great, but out of business. And then you have companies like Mona V. They were huge. Vima went out of business. Your travel business and World Ventures was really big not too long ago. They're gone, not even in business today. Why? It just happens, folks. Just like in any business, companies can go fail. They can have up times and down. So that's a problem when you're building a team and investing years, developing relationships and training people, and then it's all gone and it was out of your control. That's a problem. Primary problem number three is the money might be there, but it always seems for most people just out of reach. And there's reasons for that because there's compensation barriers and limitations. Briefly, there's four primary compensation structures. That's the unilevel, that's the binary, the matrix, and the breakaway. And all of those have strengths and limitations. You might have an organization, if it forms up out of your control, if it just forms up in one way, you might make a lot of money in a binary. But in a unilevel, you might not make anything hardly of any significance, but you could be making a ton in a binary. Depends on how your organization structured and forms up. On the other hand, you might have a binary organization and you'd be making almost no money whatsoever, but you might be making a fair amount from a unilevel. If your same organization was in that different structure, you might be handsomely rewarded. Same thing with the matrix and the breakaway. So after internalizing what we're about to show you, you'll never want to work within these limitations again. So this is just for illustration. This, for those that are regulators, the regulatory bodies, we are not talking about an investment here. Okay, we want to make that clear, but we're using this as an illustration, just as a hypothetical to get a point across. For example, if you had $100,000 in Bank A, you'd get 5% interest over time that compounds. Not bad, right? That's cool. But what if somebody figured out a legal and ethical way to put that $100,000 in four separate accounts? I don't mean 25,000 in one and 25,000 each of the others and divide it up. I mean, you put that same dollar in four different accounts and it keeps collecting from four, and it's legal and ethical. We're talking about multi-dimensional returns instead of one-dimensional returns. Which bank would you choose? Well, I think you choose Bank B, not Bank A. It just makes sense. However, if you choose to still work within the traditional limitations, like everyone up until now has done, this is what you can expect. So in a unilevel plan, they typically pay 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9, 10 levels. Most of the time it's 8 levels or less. And sometimes they have bonuses below that, but the majority of your income are paid within 8 levels. Yet over time, as an organization matures and grows, and if you're successful, the vast majority of your teams would be below the 8 levels. And you're working with those people, but you're getting paid either nothing or very little comparatively. Now, it's a good idea to do, and it's security and all that. Yes, there's an argument for it. But the truth is, you're not getting paid on where you're working the most. And any way you look at that, that's a limitation. And a binary, it doesn't have that limitation. You could be getting paid the same on level 300 or generation 350 as you would on generation or level 1. That's huge. That's great. Oh my gosh, that's good. You didn't hear the rest of the story. You're only getting paid on your smaller team. You're limited to 2 teams and you only get paid on the small one. So over time, great. That small one could be huge, but typically one team outpaces the other one significantly and you're not getting paid very much for a while. So that's a limitation. What if there was a way to get the benefits of the compensation plan that's a unilevel and the benefits of the binary and the benefits potentially of the matrix and the breakaways all in one without having to experience a total limitation? It'll make sense later. Primary problem number 4 is working with the wrong people. Those with little desire, the guy on the left might be a great guy. The guy in the middle might be a nice guy, but he just doesn't get it. And you tell him and tell him and tell him, and he feels like he's dense. He's just not coachable, and he just doesn't understand. And it's frustrating him and frustrating you, and it's not going to work. And then that third guy looks perfect, but the truth is most very polished people are sales types, right? And those sales types historically in network marketing don't succeed. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's the truth. They tend to have temporary success, but no huge organization. It's very, very rare. Most of the big leaders in network marketing are better teachers, but they're not great salespeople historically. It's okay to have some sales skills. It's okay to be a salesperson as long as you're not salesy and you're not trying to apply convincing here. We don't want that. It's not going to work, and we will screen people out. So we have systems and processes to eliminate those that don't fit. Most leaders focus on teaching mindsets and skill sets. While those are valuable, let's just be real. That dog is never going to get the mindset to understand, go this way, and get untangled around that pole of that tree. You're going to have to physically walk the dog around yourself. It's just not in him to get it. And those skill sets, they can take years to develop. Do you want years for your personal people to develop enough to build an organization, or do you want this thing to go? That's a good question. So there's something more important, and we're going to show you what that is right now, and that's what ESS focuses on. It's systems. Great skills, even great skills, can never compete with a great system. So that chef right there can definitely produce a better meal than that guy on the right. But he can never produce the revenue and the cash flow that that guy on the right can, because the guy on the right has a system down and is generating just billions of dollars worldwide. But that chef, he's just going to get paid on one meal at a time. He's limited, even though it's great. Well, we work outside of that. We still add mindsets and skill sets on top to improve results. But results are not dependent on mindsets and skill sets here at ESS. So the solution is a leadership lifestyle organization focused on an innovative marketing process, something completely different. ESS, what does it stand for? The E stands for exclusive, and we use exclusivity, meaning we exclude the majority of candidates. We don't let most people in. We really do screen here. I mean, we'll take a customer, of course, for things, if somebody wants to buy something, but that's different. And we explain that in our training that comes later and in our coaching. Okay. So, but we exclude the majority of candidates, and our coaches are typically limited. This is not a super hard rule because there's some exceptions here depending on the person. But for the most part, we limit our coaches to 5 chosen students who will over time, hopefully not too long, transform into very competent business partners. And we go beyond the typical sponsoring situation and we do coaching. That means hands-on. Guess what? We're noticing a higher success rate as a result. We coach with heart here. We care about our folks. We lock arms and we win together. But we exclude people that are going to waste time for them and us. We don't want to give false dreams and false hopes. Okay. We just don't. We want to work with people that have a high chance of success. Again, nothing's guaranteed, but there is a thing called different and there's a thing called better. The first S is social. Like we explained earlier, it's introvert friendly. We combine a simple cut and paste process that's not spammy, and we have an easy to learn referral generation process that we teach. We also use some new technologies and an interview process, not a sales process, that makes this a lot more fun and enjoyable than many people would expect. The final S is synergistic, or synergy, really. And it's when the parts come together to create something greater than the sum of their separated value. And to me, this is maybe the biggest point. Some people may feel differently, but you're about to discover compensation combining and time compounding, where you get more done with less effort. You see this 400-pound gorilla on the left standing on a pile of cash. He's tough. He's doing good. But with some ESS synergistic Hulk juice, he has the potential to be an 800-pound gorilla on a bigger pile of cash. Instead of feeling like an extended employee of a vendor, really it's a company. We call them a vendor. We put you in the owner's seat, making business more profitable and secure for your future, not just the company's. After all, have you noticed that they shout, be in business for yourself, be an entrepreneur, and then you can be fired. You can be let go. 1099 subcontractors have less protection than an employee, let alone a business owner. You're really it does have advantages, but you're still somewhat controlled. We're all for keeping within the law and within ethical limits and within good business practices. But if a company controls you beyond good business practices, legal and ethical limits, well, guess what? Are you really self-employed? We want to put you in the owner's seat. And what happens when the company goes out of business? Well, this is a busy slide, but top left here, your team is one organization, one goal until the company goes out of business. And then what happens next? Your team splinters into many different opportunities. You see company A, B, C. Some go to different online ventures. Some do affiliate marketing. Some do something completely different. And others quit entirely. What are your choices? You can either quit entirely, or you can start all over and pour your heart into more people, new people, because your organization has chosen different routes, and it's going to be hard. You're not going to carry, you might get a few, but you're not going to carry the bulk of your organization with you. You got to start all over, and leaders are getting burned out from starting over. I've done it. Most leaders I know have done it over and over and over. And they get burned out and they start losing their fire. Well, guess what? With ESS, that stops now. So with ESS, you experience security. This is different, and yet it's simple. Basically, what happens is we focus on building one highly successful ESS team, not your company's team, your ESS team. And you're going to generate income from multiple synergistic branches. Look at the slide here on the right. You'll see that we have a vendor company to be announced. We have a preferred unilevel company, a preferred binary company, but you're getting paid. It doesn't matter how your organization forms up. You're going to get paid from multiple sources. So however is most fitting for how your team forms up, you're going to get the cash flow sooner rather than later. And then as your organization develops over time, you'll get it from all of it. We even have an ESS store. What is that? You can't you can't be in too many things. It's overwhelming. So we had to select companies that will work with us. We found companies that not only will work with us, but some that even made exception and a separate policy for ESS, that we can go do things differently than their typical policies and procedures, because the CEO saw this presentation, understood what we were doing, and said, you know what? I don't like it, but I like it because I think it's going to work and we want to be a part. How do you like that? So we've got special arrangements, special agreements, and companies that are all going to work together. And these are non-competing product lines, and these are enhancing opportunities. They enhance one another rather than take away from each other. So we'll explain that later. And if you have a preferred company that you love, well, guess what? We can show you how to have your team duplicate more, retain longer, have more security, and get rewarded at a higher level than your company by itself rewards. And you see here, the trophy at the bottom is you. It's not the company. They're not the prize. You're the prize, because without you, they've got nothing. We're going to funnel cash flow from multiple directions, one effort, multiple directions into your bucket. You're going to win at a much higher level here. And we created a way. You might be thinking, well, how much is it going to cost? I got to be in all these things. We found a way around that too. And we'll explain it to you individually, because we just don't have time here. But we found a way to make it affordable and financially feasible, and do it more feasibly than you might think. Okay. So we're going to explain that. We also have, at our higher leadership levels, called Diamond, we also have a pool that goes into retirement or investment accounts of your choice that you own. We don't own it. We don't control it. You do. That would be a regulatory nightmare for us. Anyway, we don't want that. We want you to pick it. Of course, it has to look a certain way, and it has to be legal and all that. Okay. But we will fund, for every month you qualify Diamond, down the road, we're going to put significant deposits in your account, so that if something ever happened to ESS or the entire industry, potentially could have a lot of money there in a nest egg that you earn, so you never lose the value of what you do here, no matter what happens. So it's the same effort and greater rewards, because that's what residual income was meant to do, right? Give you security. You're going to have multiplied now money through our vendors, through our system, and you're going to have a more secure tomorrow because of ESS. So just imagine, this is a brand new concept, a fresh revolution in freedom. I think this is network marketing 4.0. I think we're reinventing the entire industry. We'll see what the future says, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think this is going to take off rather fast, guys. This is a fresh revolution of freedom, time, money, and life enjoyment. You're at the beginning. This is free enterprise in a pure sense, because you're an entrepreneur, not an extended 1099 employee that can be no security. Here, you're the owner, and an elite team of lifestyle hackers as your coaches that will work with you, lock arms, and you'll have a greater percentage of success. So you can enjoy your life. And you see here the people that are locking arms to get to the top of the mountain together. So the alternative is to keep running in circles, round and round and round and round and round, and the reward's just out of reach. Or you can try something completely, or starting over and over again, or try something completely different. Sometimes you have to think outside of the cage. And after all, my third grade teacher taught us that success is spelled with ESS. So we feel like if you synergize your biz the way we're talking, you'll have a better chance of truly enjoying your life. So here's the big question. Would you like some more information? If so, get back with the people that shared this with you and get on our wait list today while we begin to walk you through some further steps. So with that, at ESS, the heart of everything we do begins with a simple belief. Love is an action. It's a quiet but powerful way of saying, I see you, I believe in you, you matter, and you don't have to walk this road alone. Now imagine combining that kind of love with a truly transformative and original idea, something refreshingly different, something people immediately recognize as both practical and profoundly needed. That's when something remarkable happens. When genuine love for people meets a fresh, timely, and transformative idea, lives can begin to change. Families can grow stronger, communities can become healthier, businesses can become more meaningful. One life inspires another, and that decision starts with an idea and then is preceded by a single step. But every great movement also begins with passion, a passion based on love. If everything in your life is working, if you're passionate, if you're having fun, if you have the time to enjoy your life, and if you have the finances to provide for everything you need plus. But if not, if everything's not perfect yet, we invite you to lock arms with your ESS coaches and join our wait list today.